Now, it feels like we have a plethora of action RPGs to choose from lately, but this title cannot be overlooked. Now, the game is called No Rest for the Wicked, and it's developed by Moon Studios and published by Private Division. Now, first and foremost, we must mention that this game is being developed by the same group that brought us Ori and the Blind Forest, as well as Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, for anyone that has played those games, you know just how incredible they are, both gameplay-wise and visually and audibly appealing. Now, I'm obviously a huge fan of the Ori series, so this game has my interest simply based on that fact alone. Now, as I mentioned, No Rest for the Wicked is an action RPG, and the dev team says that it will reinvent the genre. Now, that's pretty bold words, but from what I've seen so far, I believe it. So on April 18th, No Rest for the Wicked will release for early access, so we as the players will be able to help shape the game, as well as ensuring that it's balanced before the full release comes across to the PC and the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Now, it appears the first update, which will be sometime after the early access release, will offer multiplayer, which will be an awesome experience to be able to enjoy the game with friends. Now, the dev team also plans to release another update with additional areas to explore, all to fine-tune before the game's final release. Now let's jump into the game itself. So in short, the setting of the game places us in the year 841. Now, there's a rumor of a great plague coming to the world, and we must set out to vanquish the plague. Now, during our trip to investigate, our ship is taken over and we are washed ashore, naked and unarmed, and we must fight for our survival. The world we're washed up on is totally handcrafted, it's absolutely breathtaking to look at, and the team says the world is vibrant, seamless, and has interactive environments. Now, the team goes on to say that if something looks climbable, it will be. If an object is too thin to walk over, you may need to balance your way across. Also, the point-and-click scenario is out the window for this game, as they favor the trusty WASD keyboard setup or the controller control scheme. Now, the map itself will also be ever-changing, as we can return to previously explored areas to find new threats or resources to scavenge. Now, as for the leveling and class systems, No Rest for the Wicked is set to use a soft class system, meaning they will prioritize weapons over picking a specific class or role. Now, our stat points will still consist of HP, intelligence, dexterity, strength, and stamina that are familiar to us, but these stats can directly make our weapon more powerful and allow players to basically create any build they want. Now, combat will contain an animation-driven system where attacks should be planned and deliberate. We must watch the enemy's movements and behaviors to know when to strike, when to dodge or parry, and ensure that our movement and timing is right. Now, movement speed will also be crucial to decide whether to be nimble and quick, or maybe a bit slower while being able to shoulder bash enemies to counteract our slowness. Now, weapons will also be completely unique, with the ability to change them at various vendors, add runes to them, and pretty much make them our own. Now, along the way, we will also have the ability to purchase property and decorate it however we wish. There will be all sorts of purchasable properties and an interior design system, allowing us to create a unique place of our own. Now, gathering resources by fishing or felling trees, mining, and so much more will also be important to craft new gear, meals, upgrade to our home, as well as helping others around town by updating their establishments for them. Now, for those of us that just can't get enough of role-playing games, No Rest for the Wicked looks like a really unique spin on the genre. Now, I see a lot of potential in this game, and I'll be standing in line April 18th for a crack at this one.
The goal is for most of them to be functional and have a gameplay purpose. With a range of properties to purchase and an incredibly flexible interior design system, we hope players will be able to find and design a unique place for them to call home.
One last thing we'd like to show you today is a system we call Alive. Although No Rest for the Wicked features a traditional campaign, it was important to us that the Solar Sector is very much a living, breathing world. In order to show you what that means, we're going to go to an area called Mariner's Keep. This is an area I've previously ventured through and explored. However, since my last journey through here, NIF have overrun the local area, presenting entirely new threats for me to tackle and resources for me to scavenge. world of No Rest for the Wicked is constantly changing around you. And each time you visit a region, you'll be faced with a drastically different experience. And no rest for the wicked. You never really know what to expect. For those of you who asked about endgame, yes, we've got you covered. While we don't want to give away too much at this point, once you reach the endgame, you can enter the Serum Crucible. This is where you'll have to test your metal against some of the toughest enemies within No Rest for the Wicked.
Our goal is and always has been to create a very different action RPG, one that will hopefully move the genre forward. We believe that Moon Studios is in an incredibly unique position to deliver on this vision. We have some of the best talent in the world united behind this, and we're not afraid to take the risks that need to be taken in order to change up the status quo.
We've poured an incredible amount of blood, sweat, and tears into this project, and now we're at a point where we need your help to shape and build Wicked into the best game it can possibly be.
Therefore, we'd like to invite all of you who love this genre, who grew up with it the same way we did, and who are excited to see a new take on it, to join us on this journey. And so we're happy to announce that we're going to be launching No Rest for the Wicked after all of these years into Steam Early Access next month on April 18th.
Over the course of Early Access, we'll be tweaking, patching, and balancing the game with your input. And you will also see major content updates throughout development until we hit our 1.0 release, at which point we're planning to release on consoles as well.
Wicked has been built from the ground up with multiplayer in mind. So the first of these major updates that we will be releasing in Early Access will be providing you with an innovative multiplayer experience, allowing you to play Wicked alongside or even against your friends.
Our second major content update will bring all new regions to Sakura, new enemies, narrative updates, and so much more, with story, system, and gameplay content updates to follow thereafter.
Your support and feedback during this very critical part of Early Access really does make a difference. No Rest for the Wicked begins a new era for Moon Studios, and we're committed to this project for the long run.
We're incredibly excited about what will be No Rest for the Wicked already in day one of Early Access, and we can't wait to show you all the stuff that will follow in the months to come.